Francesco Bagnaia thought 2025 was going to be his year. 2 titles already under his belt, Ducati factory star, the face of Italy's MotoGP pride. He looked at Marc Marquez coming in and told himself he could take him. That was his mistake. Because here's the thing. When a tsunami rolls in, you don't take it. You survive it, or you sink. And Alex Marquez, standing right in the middle of this storm, said it flat out. When a tsunami like Marc hits you, you can't do anything but sink. Bagnaia has been unplugged. A 2-time world champion reduced to scratching for podium scraps. He's won 1 race this entire season. 1. Meanwhile, Marc has stacked 25 victories between GPs and sprints like a man burning cities for sport. The gap? Almost 300 points. That's not a gap. That's an obituary written in timing sheets. The numbers themselves are humiliation. Bagnaia, who once defined the Desmos ADC GP24 as his killing machine, now sits 3rd behind not just Marc, but Alex. Alex Marquez, Pecco's old training buddy, the guy he never thought twice about in his youth, is ahead of him on last year's bike. If that doesn't taste like ashes, nothing will. Alex said it plain. Pecco's problem isn't mentality, it's sensations. Bagnaia needs to feel the bike to ride it. Without that perfect groove, without the machine whispering back to him, he's naked. And once Marc entered the Ducati garage, that groove was gone forever. Because Marc doesn't need sensations. He creates them. He takes a machine that feels hostile, unstable, impossible, and bends it until it sings to his rhythm. That's why he could take the GP23 at Gresini, a bike riders were cursing as unrideable, and still drag it to podiums against factory machinery. That's why the GP25, brutal and raw, becomes a weapon in his hands while Bagnaia drowns under its weight. Statistically, this is Bagnaia's worst season since 2020, when he was 16th in the points with the Pramac Ducati squad. At present, he is at a scoring pace of 14.8 points per round, down from 24.9 last year and 23.35 from 2023. Right now, his points per round pace is only just above what he was achieving in 2022, 13.9 in the pre-sprint era. That's regression on a catastrophic level. The numbers expose what excuses can't. Bagnaia's issues with the GP25 revolve around his feeling with the front end and the fact he can't push under braking like he used to. Ironically, this was the very thing Ducati engineers and rivals once admired him for, watching his data in awe. Now, he's lost that edge. He even admitted that Alex Marquez's data on the GP24 is basically identical to his own from last year. That's the slap in the face. His old self is alive, but in someone else's hands. Pre-season, Ducati gambled safe and lost big. They didn't nail their engine configuration. With a development freeze locked in until the end of 2026, they rolled out a tweaked 2024 motor instead of a bold leap forward. That conservative play killed Pecco's momentum. Something in that design has knocked him off balance, robbed him of front-end trust, and left him stuck in limbo. Marc, meanwhile, eats the same technical problem for breakfast. Fabio Di Giannantonio manages it in waves. But Pecco? He sinks in it. That's the difference between a champion built for chaos and a rider who needs comfort. Alex knows the truth. He's seen it since childhood. He called Pecco the same back then. A rider who needs everything aligned, who thrives when the vibes are right but collapses when they're not. That's fine when you're the top dog in a box, the protagonist, the Italian prince at Ducati. But when Marc Marquez walks in, forget it. Suddenly your garage is haunted. Suddenly your engineers listen harder to the other guy. Suddenly the fans in red are whispering his name instead of yours. That's the tsunami Alex is talking about. It's not just speed. It's force, energy, the total brutality of a man who never shows mercy, not even to his own brother. If Marc can shred Alex's hopes on track without blinking, why would anyone believe he'd show restraint with Pecco? And here's the sting. Ducati isn't Yamaha. They don't play long contracts with fading stars. They don't martyr themselves to protect an icon. They'll cut a rider loose if it buys them another title. Right now, Pecco is second best, and second best isn't enough when Marc is rewriting dominance in blood. If Bagnaia slips to fourth, if Bezzecchi or Acosta push him off the podium in the standings, he's looking at pay cuts and a shrinking lifeline. Ducati's patience is already running thin. You think they'll hesitate to bring in a younger, hungrier wolf if the Italian keeps drowning? No chance. Look at the pattern. Dani Pedrosa tried to tame Marc and failed. Jorge Lorenzo thought he had the craft and failed. Joan Mir came with a title and failed. All on equal bikes, all broken by the same storm. Bagnaia is just the next name carved into the rocks Marc leaves behind when the water recedes. His confidence is cracking. He's making errors, blanking out mid-race, riding like he's chasing a memory that won't return. This isn't bad luck. It's the psychological warfare of racing against a man you can't bend. And it's not over. Next year, Marc gets a GP26 designed around him, tuned for his aggression, his brutality. Bagnaia's praying it saves him, but Alex, his own teammate in red, already said it. Don't wait for this year. Don't wait for next year. Maybe not even the one after. Sensations come and go. But Marc's tsunami doesn't stop rolling. Pecco is already gasping for air. Bezzecchi and Acosta are circling, ready to drag him out of the top three. If that happens, it's the final insult. The Italian champion, dethroned in his own house, overshadowed by his teammate, humiliated by kids who grew up idolizing him. Meanwhile, Marc will be standing there like a tidal wave that never broke, rewriting the sport with every lap, every corner, every win. So when Alex Marquez says you can't fight a tsunami, believe him. He's seen it up close, in his brother, in his rivals, in himself. Bagnaia's problem isn't mentality, it's reality. Marc Marquez has hit Ducati like a force of nature, and no amount of Rossi Academy pep talks, no number of post-race fine positivity speeches, no desperate late-season fixes can hold back a flood like this. And here's the question Ducati itself can't ignore. No team has ever managed two champions peacefully. Not Honda with Dani, not Yamaha with Rossi and Lorenzo, not even Suzuki with Mir. With Marc in the box, every weekend is chaos, discomfort, tension. Can Ducati really keep Pecco alive in that storm? Or will they let the tsunami wash him out of their history books too? Ducati's recent announcement that Alex Marquez will have a factory bike next year opens up two pathways for Bagnaia. Either he will find some vindication for his troubles in 2025 if Ducati's second-best rider of this season begins to experience the same thing. But if Alex Marquez remains where he is in the pecking order, Bagnaia is in even bigger trouble.